Hello, all. This is Rich, and this is my channel. This is Blind Hope with Rich is the name of the channel, and I started this channel after thinking about it for several months to try and help lift the spirits, give positive, you know, words to people that are feeling down, that are feeling depressed, that feel sad, that are, And I originally started this with the idea of it being for people that are blind or have some degree of vision impairment. I personally am completely blind. I didn't used to be this way. Um, Almost a year ago, March 20th last year, I had lost the rest of my vision. And I went through all sorts of stages of loss and stages of grief and all those things that the textbooks tell you about and that you can go to the almighty internet and google it or ask Siri or whatever you choose to do you know but when it came down to it, I realized all the information in the world doesn't make a difference if I'm not going and reaching out and trying to do something about what I feel. So I decided starting this channel, I hopefully will reach out and help those with vision problems, but also help those that are, feeling depression, feeling lost, feeling sad, feeling hurt, feeling, like they've had just a freaking rough day at work. I want all of you, you know, if possible, to find hope, find positivity. I want you guys to recognize that you don't have to be alone. You don't have to go hide under the blankets. You know, you can face the world. You can reach out and ask for help. You know, I prior to losing my vision completely, I was legally blind for about 19 years. Legally blind is a government term, um, and I'm very, very much going to try not to ever go into big political discussions on this channel because I just don't care. If I dwelled on all the political stuff, we'll call it, that's going on out there, I'd be either angry, I'd be sad, or I'd be scared. Instead, I want to focus on me. And in doing so, I reach out to all of you because by myself, man, I can turn myself into a depressed train wreck in no time flat. But hopefully, by starting this channel and reaching out and getting comments from all of you that do choose to check out this video, and hopefully the many that will follow, I hope, you'll like and subscribe to the video, and we'll start making something go and make something happen here. I'm excited uh, to be getting to do this. You know, um, I gotta say, it wasn't just my mind that created it. This came from watching my wife, who is amazing at what she does. She is working to become what they call a makeup influencer, and she has her own YouTube channel. And ladies, if any of you ladies that check this station, I want you guys to check hers. She talks about makeup and stuff, but she also talks about life on life's terms. You know, and her station, the name of it is Just Another Beauty Guru, and she comes up with some, from what I remember when I used to be able to see the makeup she did, it was freaking awesome. And still to this day, when we're out in public, she runs into somebody, either a cashier or just somebody we passing by that just says, "Man, I love your makeup." And I wish I could see what it looked like because man, it has to be spectacular. A stranger just love your makeup. That's so awesome. It just the feeling you get when somebody tells you something you love looks awesome, looks great, looks beautiful. That's so cool. So if you get a chance, check out her station. It's just another beauty guru. But anyways, for me, I want to talk a little bit today about who I am. Um, I'm uh, I would say I'm 53 years old. Not a spring chicken anymore by any means, but I refuse to consider myself as getting old because I don't have no desire to be. That doesn't sound as fun. But then again, I know people that are older than me that they think getting old has been the greatest thing because they get to spend all this time, taking trips and going places, and they get to go see their grandkids and hang out and spend and have their grandkids spend weekends, and they are happy because they're getting to do something other than just focus on, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to know. I get to go see my grandkids. I get to go take this trip. It's just like me, you know. I might be 53 years old, I might be completely blind, but you know what? I haven't given up on life. When I lost the rest of my vision, all that is I've started a new chapter, you know, and know people that are simply amazing. I recently met a man who's been blind since birth, and he told me that he isn't sure, if there was to be a cure for his vision loss. He's not sure he'd take it because he's so happy with the life he has, you know, because it could be worse. If you're watching this, keep this in mind. It could be worse. You could be out homeless on the street. No phone, no computer, no laptop, no tablet, no electronic devices, nobody to talk to. You could be just lost. And that's what I don't want people to be. I want people to know that life is still worth living, even if we go through challenges. I mean, that isn't that life on life's terms? I mean, life today, for me, even with my vision loss, I can say it's a blessing. I get to still go to work every day. Some days like today, man, totally exhausting. I mean, my brain, I thought, ooh, I burned some brain cells trying to get through this day. You know, it was a tough day, but I got to do it. And what I do for a living, I'll share that with you guys. I'm the program director for a substance abuse treatment center that has two offices. I live in Kansas, and there's two offices here that I'm supposed to help the other counselors and help the clients and you know get things flowing and going in the right direction and keep things positive. And some days that's tough because some days some of the clients are, man, they're having a rough day. It just feels like everything's falling down around their ears. But you know I'd try and help them find the positive. You know, it got this bad, huh? Well, what would make it worse? Instead of what would make it better, what would make it worse? And it helps them to realize, oh, it could be worse if this did happen or if this happened. So maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I can get through this, you know? And that's because we work together, you know? I work with other people and we just keep working together. You know, by myself, man, I tell you what, if I didn't have some amazing parents, this spectacular wife, and a support system of people that love me. They actually care what happens to me. And, when I was younger, you know, I went through a tough part of my life for about 17 years. I am now a recovering drug addict with a little over 20 years clean. And uh, but during those years of active addiction, that was a bad time in my life. It was a real bad time in my life, Got in trouble with the law, got in fights, got shot at, all sorts of things, been in accidents, been in just a lot of bad, you know. And I recognize it. I've tried to clean up the wreckage of my past, so that I can have a good day, so that I can enjoy the day that I have. I don't know about y'all or where y'all live, but in Kansas right now, it's usually pretty freaking cold here. So maybe there's some snow on the ground, cold wind blowing, all sorts of, yeah. And instead, man, I think my assistant today told me it's supposed to be up to 69 degrees today. And I thought, 69 degrees, middle of February. All right, this is good stuff. She says, then she tells me, yeah, later this week it's going to get down to this temperature. And I'm just like, well, can't last forever, but then she tells me the good news. It's going to go back up to this temperature. I'm going to be like, all right. So, we keep putting one foot in front of the other. We keep working. We keep moving forward. Our lives will get better. You know, let's talk a little, though, about the vision impaired community. So, a lot of people out there that, I hope find this channel and recognize that, I know I'm not near the only person that's gone through some depression, some sadness, some hurt, some feeling like nobody can understand what I'm going through. You know, I know, I know those feelings. I've had to talk about them, and I've had to talk about them, and I've had to talk about them because if I leave them sitting around rolling in my head, oh, I get in really bad headspace. I get very depressed and withdrawn, and I know I don't want that anymore. I don't want to be depressed and withdrawn. I want to be happy. I want to find that there is some good out there, you know? I mean, right now, there's some tough things going on out there in the world, you know? But what can I do today for me? You know, I'm part of a 12-step support group, and I have been for 20 years. And I won't, discuss that support group because it's an anonymous program, and it talks about, the program being about attraction, not promotion. So I'm not going to try and throw, hey, go to this, type of group and stuff. Nah, better not. So otherwise, I might have some people get upset. But I am very happy that I am getting the privilege to share my feelings, my hopes with those out there in the community. Whether you're blind, whether you're just feeling sad, whether you're, legally blind and, oh, cats is it? One of my cats has seemed to have joined us for the video. I believe his name is Jack. I don't know. He's somewhere around here. I don't know why I'm looking. It's not like I can see anything. That's kind of silly, ain't it? After a year, I still do that. Once in a while, I'll still turn on a light. I so then I have to stop and I'm just like, why did I do that? And I have to go back and turn it back off because oh, it's just 50 some years of turning the lights on and off and doing certain things and looking. When you hear a noise, it's kind of hard to change. But I will say that I am not alone in trying to move forward as being a person without vision. I am working with this amazing agency. Um, I believe they're centered in Kansas City, Missouri. The name of the agency is Alpha Point. They are at this point assisting me with assistive technology and also mobility training using a cane. Um, it has been, and I hope it will continue to be, a great assist for me because I don't, you know, I would have used this computer if I didn't have somebody teach me stuff. I don't know how I would use my phone. I didn't know how to, I got this thing called a Pearl camera. It can read pages, it'll, scan them and read the page to me, or I can set it up to where it does pages and I can pages and it scans them and, keeps on reading. And I mean, there's a wide variety of things that are out there and asking for help, getting training for it. Some people are like, I can't afford to do that kind of stuff. Okay, I have a tip for you. There is a federal, it would be considered federal agency called vocational rehabilitation. At least that's what it's called in Kansas. I know it exists in other states, but Voc Rehab for short. It is an agency that helps those that have disabilities. It doesn't have to be a certain kind of disability. Blindness obviously is one they consider. Other people have other disabilities, whether it's mental health, whether it's drug addiction. Um, you can qualify for this program. At one point when I was in school, it was considered one of the government's best kept secrets, and it helped me uh, through my bachelor's degree, get through my master's degree, and this is when I still had a little bit of vision, but it was there to help me, you know. And then now I'm employed and I'm wanting to try and maintain my employment because I don't want to go on disability. My wife works full time. I can get out there and still work. I want to be a part of the community. I don't want to be apart from it. All that does is create negativity in my head if I'm, not engaged with other people, you know? So Voc Rehab, check into it. Um, here, I guess it's called the Division of Children and Families. In their building, they have a Voc Rehab office in most, bigger towns. But also, you can go online if you're able to get to a computer or even in your phone, and you can fill out applications, or you can go to your library and ask them for assistance getting, stuff filled out. People will help if you just ask. Nobody knows that you're needing help if you don't ask, right? You got to reach out. You got to be a part of. Get involved. Find that what you need to get back on your feet and get out there in that community and do the things you want to do, you know? I mean, I am so blessed that I get to go to work. Some people are like, oh gosh, I got to go to work today. Yeah, you got to do it, huh? I mean, there's options, You don't like the job? Maybe it's time to look for another one. I don't know. I'm not going to try and get into that topic, but, I know that you've got to do what you got to do to be happy. You know, it's a you program when it comes to being happy because you can't fix what's in here, what's in your heart, what's in your head. I can give you suggestions. I can try and give you tips. I can try and give you some motivational quotes, You know, I'm going to do these things. Um, Also, for people with the vision impairments, I'm going to, every so often I'll be, discussing a particular assistive technology device, or maybe I'll talk about, some of the things around a person's house, involving activities of daily living, all sorts of things. It's just a matter of if we want to get involved and we want to get out there and we want to do something. We have to get off our tushes and get involved. Find out what there is. Most towns you can find community resources that can tell you, hey, this is here, this is here. We offer this, we offer this. There's public transportation, there's all sorts of things that you can do. You just have to step up and get involved and let your voice be heard, you know? Find the happiness, you know? It's not going to just fall in your lap, you know? I mean, my cat might, that would be pretty happy. My cat usually follow, and the dog usually follow my wife. I don't know. She must give him better treats than I do. I'm not sure. Anyways, it's a very, very good thing, if you guys can just get out there and be a part of. By yourselves, it's rough, Sometimes it creates hopelessness, the depression, the sadness. Let's not dwell on those things. Let's look for the happiness, the joy, the gratitude, the blessings. What can we do? There's so much out there today. So many advances in modern medicine, advances in technology, advances in everything compared to what it was just a decade ago. You can do what you want. You just have to figure out what kind of accommodation you need to be able to do it. I mean, I'm the program director, one who oversees these two treatment centers that I am blessed to get to work. I have this really cool boss. She really, really cares about her people. You know, I have two coworkers in the office I work in, majority of the time, and they're very kind and respectful to me. I honestly feel like they care about me. Other jobs, hmm, I never let people get that close or get that get an understanding of who I really was. So nobody really got that opportunity to do that with me. But my life today is, it has challenges. You know, it's how I'm going to deal with the challenge. Something that's about to happen to me in a couple of weeks. On March 10th, I will be going and I'll be having my right eye removed um, because um, my eye socket and my temple and the side of my head and stuff um, are constantly in pain. The pressure in my eye is on a good day at 2. Sometimes when I've been to the eye doctor, they had trouble even getting it to read the pressure in my eye. But the eyes become deformed. It doesn't hold its spherical shape. So I look at it like this. Might as well take it. I'm not using it. So that's how it works. You know, I have a friend of mine that lives up in the town of Atchison. His name is Philip. He is, a laid back, chill, happy, most all the time kind of guy. And he told me years ago this one saying he came up with, I think, on his own. And it's, he is too blessed to be depressed. Mm, I use that all the time. He knows. I told him I'm stealing that. And I've used that for a long time. And it has been something that has lifted me out of some dark places. This eye surgery that's coming up. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to talk to people. I'm even going to come on here and let you all know, hey, I'm doing the deal. Because they're going to take my eye out. They're going to pack the eye socket with, I don't know, some kind of pressure gauze or something. And then they're going to sew my eyelids together for 30 days so that it'll heal and all the stuff they're packing it with will help the socket uh, remain in the right shape. So after 30 days, they'll unstitch it. Hopefully, everything will be healed and looking fabulous. They'll take that stuff out of my eye socket, and I'll be down on the road, and they're going to get me a referral to what is called an ocularist. This is the person that's going to make my. They call it a glass eye still, even though it's not a glass eye. It's more like a disc. I once I checked one out. It was kind of reminded me like the lens of the glasses that I wear. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna put that under each of my eyelids, and it's going to be in my and there's my eye. And then I found out, and I just started smiling ear to ear when I heard this. Well, you can make your eye put any kind of design you want on that eye. And I immediately thought of all these things I could design. I was thinking, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, had the red eye and everything. I was like, I could take my glasses off and give somebody the red eye stare, freak some people out. That'd be a great Halloween thing. Put a favorite sports team on there. I could, put on, all sorts of things. I am something that also I'll let you all in on. I am a Harry Potter super geek. So is my wife. I'm going to throw her under the bus. My wife is too. And, you know, I can't see the movies anymore. And that's okay. I can hear the movies on the TV. But you notice if you all can see behind me, I'm not sure what all you can see. I have bookshelves that are pretty big, and some of them have books on them that my wife will have to read to me, or I'm going to hopefully find them on Audible. But I also got a selection of books of shelves that have audiobooks. There's a set, all the Harry Potter books on audio. I haven't taken any of them out of the wrapping they came in because I'm like something that's going to be my collector's collection. I have some other books up there, but my pride and joy right there. I'm also in Kansas. There's the Talking Book Service. Amazing people that'll send you this talking book machine, um, and they will then send you a cartridge that has like 10 books on it, and you pop the cartridge in there, and you play with the buttons on the talking book machine, and it'll tell you all the books that there are. Pick the one you want and hit the start button, and you can call the Talking Book Service of Kansas, and you can tell them, I would like you have this book available. Could you send it to me? And they'll send out a cartridge with the books on it. It is an amazing thing. And this is for people that are blind. This is also for people that could be senior citizens. It's not just limited, but it's something. Get this, it's something that brings me joy. What is it that brings you all joy? Share with me in your comments. What are some joyful things that you have in your life? Some blessings that you recognize that make you smile. You know, I also enjoy good jokes. Keep them clean on here, please. No dirty ones. Also, if you like this channel, please like and subscribe. I want this channel to grow. I'm not in being one of those, 2 million followers kind of thing. I mean, amazing if that ever happened. But I'm just into having some people that want to follow and have the like mindset of me that, want to have their spirits lifted, want to, lift other people's spirits, want to be a part of, you know, like and subscribe, please. I would really appreciate it. You know, if you think there's stuff I need to work on or stuff I need to add, put it in the comments. I'll make sure that I know what's in the comments. I just need, you guys to see, um, or to know, maybe is a better word to say. I need you guys to know that I want to be there. I want to support. I want to help you guys find smile. You know, this can work if you guys will give it a chance. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to try starting out posting a video once a week, probably on a Sunday or a Monday. Not sure which yet. I was going to post last night, but come to find out, instead of facing the camera, uh, everybody got a side view of me. I'm not sure how I got turned in my chair, but I didn't end up with the right view. So my wife was like, "You should go ahead and post that." I'm like, "No, I don't want to." So I decided, I'd come home not knowing that I'd be so exhausted, but I'd come home today and I would do another video and I'd get this one uploaded on Monday evening. So this will be going up tonight. So I hope you guys find this video. I hope it helps you know that people out there care. The world right now is kind of crazy, but there are people that care. Just got to reach out and ask. You know. Anyways, I think that's all I'm going to share for today. Um, I'm sure there's other things I want to tell you about myself, other things I've been through. You know, the successes in finding happiness that I've had through challenging times. Fears that I have going on, but most of all, I just want to reach out and be able to connect with people out there, that are on YouTube, and want them to be a part of this, Blind Hope channel. So if you get a chance, hit the like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Y'all have a fabulous day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye bye.